welcome back to Majestic Mayhem. I'm Death Dealer,
And I'm Pink Pickles.
and yeah, we're back after missing a week. I couldn't do it. My husband made me do things, and I had to walk and stand and stuff, and that's hard when you have a bad back. I couldn't do it. I got home and was like, you know what? I love you guys, but I'm not doing it. Not today. Not today, Satan. Not today. Next time. So I'm
You
here.
you make it seem he was like, oh, he made me do things like you're like assisting in crimes or something against your will. He's just forcing
You
you.
know, kinda. I would rather stay at home for the most part. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a good party. Most people do. Who doesn't love a good party? But let's be honest, when it comes to company parties, how good of a party can it really be? And we had a company Christmas party
Mm,
with his coworkers and his boss and stuff, and it was like you can't have as much fun as you think you might.
yeah,
I mean, they're nice people, don't get me wrong, but I'm from a generation of phone parties and, backyard raves and, things like that. So our definition of a good party just might
yeah,
slightly differ. But it was great. It was fun. It was just a lot of standing.
yeah.
Old people like to stand, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what that was about, but a lot of people were standing a whole time. There weren't many seats.
See, at my job, they used to do one big party, but it's so stupid and no one has fun and everyone complained. So then they sent out a survey earlier this year and like they were asking if you would pay $50 to go to a work party. Now, I wasn't even going to answer the survey because I don't care, but I answered their survey, and that's the only question I responded to. Is I said, "In no universe am I paying $50 for a work event." That's what I wrote in the thing. So luckily, instead of having one, company wide party,
Mm.
every group gets to do their own thing. So I actually had two parties because I am a part of a group, but then I manage like a smaller group within that group. So I went to the party with my group and we went to what are those places for kids where there's like trampolines, which we did not do the trampolines, thank God. Who wants to bounce with their coworkers? But we played mini golf and laser tag and ping pong and pickleball. So the food portion, everyone's sitting in a room was very awkward. And then I was like, okay, who's ready for laser tag? So I rounded up a bunch of people and we played laser tag. So it was actually kind of fun. And then with my group, we all voted on what to do, and they are all super cheap. So we went to the Chinese buffet. But I was like, that's right up my alley because I bought cupcakes. We went to the buffet. It was low key. We just hung around. Because, yeah, no one, and it's during the day. Like, it's not like after hours. So we just got paid to spend 4 hours eating food.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that sounds like a good party. I mean, I would take that. That sounds like fun.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely better. Some of the other years were just, yeah, they were stupid and nobody wants to do them. And I guess enough people complained, and I think people weren't going was the problem too. Is they needed a minimum number of people to go, and
Mhm.
people hated it so much they just didn't go.
Well, see, company parties, depending on the atmosphere and
Mhm.
where you're working the rest of the year, depends on whether or not a Christmas party is going to be good.
Yep.
If you've got Joe Schmo who holds every single policy to the T, and you've got stupid, ridiculous policies like no crazy makeup and no perfume. I'm talking like outlandish.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. No one should be bathed in perfume to go to work. And yeah, you probably shouldn't have your whole face painted to, I, I don't know, teach something or another.
Yeah.
There are different, obviously points in times for everything. But if your boss is a real sticks in the mud, who is going to want to hang out and party with them at any given time on their
Yeah.
worst day? I mean,
Yeah.
and not to mention paying to go to the party. Yeah, no. Mm, that was
Yeah.
my main selling point for not going to my high school reunion was that I had to pay to go and they were not worth me paying money out of my pocket
Yes.
to go see them. Like it just didn't seem like the best of ideas to me personally.
I agree because I understand, like, some things I'm kind of obligated to go, but there's a limit. Okay, like $20. Okay, fine, but like $50? No way, no how. No.
Listen, I'm not paying money to walk into a restaurant that I can go into for free at any time, and I still have to pay for my food regardless of whether or not I pay that $50 to walk in,
Yeah.
or I go in as just another patron for free.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
So I have to say, you said about people like going to work bathed in cologne. I actually had to talk to one of my employees. He would go in the like we had a back room, just like a big table and chairs and stuff. He would spray cologne on himself, but he sprayed so much, and he wore Brute, which you can go buy at like the Dollar Tree. So I had to go talk to him, and he said, "Well, this is what Elvis wore. And if it's good enough for Elvis, it's good enough for me." And I was like, "Okay, that's fine and dandy, and I love Elvis too, but you need to spray that outside. Don't spray inside the building." But I just love. I think about. I mean, that had to be probably close to 10 years ago, and I still think about it. It just cracks me up. If it's good enough for Elvis, good enough for me.
I mean, that's a reason to do something, but I
Yep.
probably, me being the smartass I am, I would have looked
Yeah.
at them like, he died sitting on a toilet,
Yeah.
right? And you're making life decisions. It's like when girls are like, my role model is Marilyn Monroe. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure she was a phenomenal person to people that really knew her, and I'm
Hmm.
sure she was an amazing human being. But some of her life choices may not be something you want
Yeah.
to base your whole life around.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like why I always say you shouldn't idolize celebrities. Period.
Hmm.
Chances are they've got real big messes somewhere in their life that you should not be idolizing
Yes.
for any reason whatsoever. We've all made mistakes. We will. That's why, actually, as a matter of fact, earlier this week, Dreadpool was teasing me and telling me I was a role model as I was walking up to my volunteer spot. I was in the elf for the last weekend, and as I was walking over, he's like, "Oh, you're like a little role model for the girls." I'm like, "No, I don't. I'm not a role model. Do not
Yeah.
ever
Yeah. No, thank you.
mistakenly think that I am a role model. I don't even want to be a role model for our child. Okay, she's amazing. She is a mini me for the most part." But even I tell her when she says, I'm going to be like you. No, 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 sweetheart. You aspire to do better than I did. That's where you need to
Okay.
go. You need to do better than me. I'm not someone you should look up to. Do not base your life choices around the things I've done.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone. Times are changing. You probably won't get away with it as much. Let's be real. So, yeah, I'm not a role model. I don't want to be. I'd rather not. It's too much pressure. Like I said,
Yeah.
I make mistakes on a frequent basis. I lose my temper. I say mean things. I have very mean thoughts. I've told people they're bad parents in front of their kids. If that's not a reason enough to not be a role model, I genuinely don't know what is. I do judge other parents. Don't be like me.
We all judge people. It's just whether you verbalize it or not.
I do. If I feel that they are doing it bad enough, I will absolutely look at the parent in
Yep.
front of their child and say, that is the worst parenting I've ever seen. Keep it up. I've never watched it in person before. I am enjoying myself. I
Yeah.
don't get to watch it often because you know why? I'm a fairly good parent when it comes to my
Yeah.
child. So I enjoy watching bad parenting. Please
Hmm.
continue. It's entertaining.
Okay, so I see that you have a Rudolph mug. Do you have mugs for every holiday?
No.
Just
I
happen to have
wish I
Halloween and
did.
Christmas. Well, Halloween, obviously, yes. So just Christmas.
Actually, this is the only Christmas mug that I have myself. This is my
Okay.
only Christmas mug. I love Rudolph, and I like I like the original stop motion
Yep.
cartoons. Those are some of my favorite Christmas ones. So when I saw this one year at the park, I was like, okay, I have to have that in case I never see anything like it again.
Hmm.
It's just comforting to me. It's one of
Yeah.
the few, again, not big on Christmas, but I like my classics. They're
Yeah.
better than the new things. I've tried watching some of the, just like some of the new Christmas songs. I can't get onto some of those things.
Mhm.
They're not great. Not great at all. If I have to listen to Christmas music, I prefer orchestras or violins.
The Trans-Siberian Orchestra, man.
One of my favorites. I've seen
Yep.
them several times in concert. I love them. I also like I can't think of her last name now. Her first name's Lindsay. I can't think of her last
I
name
got
now.
nothing.
She's a violinist, though. I like her
Okay.
stuff. Um, just the stuff without words. I prefer not to have the same 5 words repeating in my head for the rest of the day. And I am so over Mariah Carey. God loves her. I mean, let her get her money, but I am really tired of any Christmas song with Mariah Carey.
Okay, I love Mariah Carey. I could listen to that song all year round. I love Mariah Carey so much.
I think my
I
problem
always
with
have.
it is
I
the
don't know.
fact that it's used in every commercial. Everybody plays it for their
Yep.
soundtrack. It's everywhere. And it starts right at Thanksgiving. They don't
Yep.
even wait till Thanksgiving's over. They start right at Thanksgiving. And it's like,
They start Halloween. Halloween ends, and then here comes Mariah Carey.
yeah. I mean, it's like Michael Babel. I used to like his Christmas stuff. Can't listen to it
Wait, did
anymore.
you just call Michael Babel?
Isn't that, is it Bubble?
It's
Booble?
Buble.
Booble.
I thought that you were saying that to make fun of him. I only know it's Buble because he had some commercial with Silver.
Okay, listen. It just made sense to call him that. Okay, I thought
Yeah.
that whatever. That doesn't. You know who I was
That's what
talking about?
I just
What's
thought
his
you were
name?
making fun of him. It worked.
No, I thought it was his real name. I thought it was either Buble, Booble, or Babble
You
or
were
something.
close.
It's somewhere in there. Similar letters,
Yep.
different arrangements. We're going. Can't be too upset
Mm.
about it. No, I liked his stuff, and then there were a few years there where every one of his Christmas songs was in every single
Yeah.
commercial and every single movie and every single.
Yeah, it gets
You walked
overplayed.
around the stores, and it was like, I can't. If I have to listen to this one more time,
See, I
I'd
have
like to
other
pick that
stuff
tree.
that I feel the same way, but I don't know. Like I said, I just love Mariah Carey. Perry said she's in Fortnite right now.
Doesn't surprise me. She should be everywhere right now. She should
Mm-hmm.
be everywhere. Listen, I saw a Fortnite toy the other day and I almost got it just because I thought it was hysterical. But I had no idea who the people were on the box or anything, and I didn't understand a word of what was written. So I was like, just going to go ahead and put that
Yeah.
back. I think it was some kind of toy gun of some kind. I was like, that could be fun. It looked like a
Yeah.
Nerf gun almost, but I don't know what it was shooting because I didn't see the bullets. So I was like, if this could be a bad time for my nephew to have.
Yeah.
Absolutely see him shooting somebody in the face with that. A dart might not be as bad because it's a little softer, but one of those hard pellet disc things,
Yep.
that's not going to be a good time.
Just shoot somebody right in the throat.
That's exactly listen, maybe it was last year or the year before, Mom got him a web shooter, he loves Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Got him a Spider-Man web shooter. You put this little bracelet thing on your wrist and you put a little ring around your finger and you can shoot
Oh, that's cool.
spider webs. Oh, the spider webs, when she bought the toy, she thought it was going to be like silly foam spider web type stuff. It was not silly foam spider web type stuff. It was little discs. And the second you put that thing on his wrist, he literally walked over and it was amazing. I love it. He walked right up to his dad, shot his dad right in the throat. Poof! Like, yeah, nope, we can't give him weapons. I don't see a problem with it. I don't care for his dad, though, personally. Listen, if I could run him over with my car, I would. But that's a different story.
Why would they have why would it not be like silly string? Right? Like why would it have discs? That's dumb. It's
reusable.
Spider-Man.
We're saving the planet. Don't mind the bodies in the background. It's for Christmas. You've heard of Elf on the Shelf. Well, I've got bodies on the floor. Let's not pay attention to them. They keep poking out. They are haunted. Do not listen to them. They are here of their own free will. Okay.
Dreadpool said that Lindsay Sterling is the violinist
Mm,
that you were thinking of.
that's the one. Yeah, I want to go see her in concert when she comes here next time. I know she's come a few times, but
He
I'll
also
go.
said, and I have no comment on this. He also said that you are showing your age. He wrote that when you were talking about Michael Bublé.
Listen, I am like a 5,000 years old.
Uh,
I am definitely showing my age at some point in time. The gray hairs will stay away forever, but my taste in things will be as old and ancient as can be. Why? Because have you listened to the stars of today? The music is terrible. You can't understand a thing they're saying. And when you can, God forbid you understand what they're saying, because when you do, it is nasty as all hell.
yeah,
And don't give me any of that. Well, your music was nasty back in the day. It was. And you know where we listened to it? Behind closed doors like a normal person. We didn't have our kids
yeah,
singing it. They
yep,
had no business singing these things. I don't think I ever heard a child under 15 sing How Many Licks by Lil Kim. I'm just saying.
yeah. No, I agree. It is, and sometimes you can understand the words coming out of their mouth, but what do those words mean? Who the hell knows? I know I'm with
I
you. Just stuck. I'm stuck in the '90s.
I just find it's too overly, and it's not even good. They're not even telling a funny story, or like there's not an
Yeah,
antidote in there. Like, let's go with like, let me bring you back to a time, kids. Have a seat. It's story time. Obi Trice, Warren G came out with this song. What was it called? I can't think of it. It was one of my favorites. I can't even think of what it's called now.
the only
I-
Warren G song I know is "Regulators."
That's it. Regulators.
Mount up.
Okay. Good song. There's a story in it. It's a good song because there's a story in it. For
Hmm.
crying out loud, something happens besides somebody, making money. And I genuinely don't know what half the songs talk about these days. They
Well,
make
I
me
think too, like in the '90s and early 2000s, like there was certain music that was club music, and the purpose of it was to just go to the club. But the other music didn't. It had stories behind it. It had meaning. It had different styles. Right? There was one subset of like, okay, club music all sounds similar. Whereas the stuff today, everything sounds the same, and you're just repeating. There's like three sentences or lines that you just get repeated over and over, and everything sounds exactly the same. There's no variety, and it's just, yeah, it's
And
dull.
most of the diss tracks don't even sound really like diss tracks. You have to
Yeah.
find the deeper meaning behind it. You know who had some good diss tracks and they were on opposite sides of fighting with each other? Tupac and Biggie Smalls.
Hmm.
You understood every single word they were
Yep.
saying in those songs. You understood exactly what they were referring to and discussing. I didn't have to go on, an expedition to figure things out. I I tried listening to the Drake diss, Kendrick Lamar. It's all right. It's just you have to know the news stories and things to understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
Really, I don't want to have to do a bunch of homework to find a song funny or entertaining.
Hmm.
I mean, hell, I'll even give Ja Rule's diss track. That was even entertaining when that came out. Was it a good idea for him to go after Eminem? Not at all.
No,
Not at all. Because it brought 50 Cent to the problem, and 50 Cent is still trolling him like 20 years later.
dude, he has his PhD in trolling, and I love it. And anytime something happens, I'm like, I cannot wait to hear what 50 has to say about this. I love it. Do you
I
remember when he
love
bought
him.
out all those tickets at the Ja Rule concert, like all the front row tickets,
Yes,
just there's nobody there?
yes. And I think that is the best story I have ever. He tells it so funny and
Yeah.
so nonchalantly. And it is just like the best thing ever. That's like the best story of him trolling. Yeah, no, he's
Yes.
funny. I think he's hysterical when everyone was doing that ALS bucket challenge.
Yep.
And he went after, who was it, like Floyd or somebody, and he was like, "I challenge you to read a page of a Harry Potter book."
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. Wait, so first it was Floyd. It was Floyd Mayweather, the boxer. First, he challenged him to read a page from a book,
It was
and then of
great.
course he didn't because I think he legitimately. I mean, it is kind of sad because I think he legitimately is illiterate, which is sad if he is. But it's just hilarious because they're just going back and forth, which is what makes it funny.
Oh yeah.
So then, because he couldn't read a page from a book or he wouldn't, that's when he said, "Oh, I know you can't do that. I know that's too tough for you. So here's like one page of a Harry Potter book," and it was just. Oh, it was hysterical. He kept going with it. It was great.
It was. I he, I love watching that man. I will watch anything. I don't care. I will watch anything he does. He's
Yeah.
hysterical. He
Yes.
trolls everybody. He doesn't care. He's got jokes upon jokes upon jokes, and
Yes.
I am here for it all day long.
Me
He
too.
posted his own meme. Like, really, bro? You're gonna
Yep.
post your own meme? Like, if that's not trolling, I genuinely don't know
Uh,
what is. Like,
yeah.
he's the best. I love it. It's so funny to me. He's so funny.
Yeah. He's
He tells
hilarious.
amazing stories. He does amazing things. As far as I'm concerned, he's hysterical.
Like I said, anytime things come out about people, I'm like, I just can't wait for his take on it because I know it's going to be good.
I like, there was an interview he did, and they asked him about who was it? Yayo was doing some podcasts for a little while, and apparently 50 Cent paid him to not do them anymore because they're best friends from like back in the day.
Yep.
And he goes on, 50 Cent goes on podcasts after Yayo had done left, and they said, "So is it true that you paid him to not come on our show anymore?" And he's like, "Hell yeah." He's like, he tells stories he shouldn't be telling sometimes. But the problem is you can't get mad at him and stay mad at him because he'll apologize for it and he'll mean it.
Yeah.
But really, his apology is like, "I'm sorry, but I'm going to do it again. Like, I'm going to do it again. Like, it's cool. You're going to be cool. It's fine. It's fine. I'm going to
Yep.
do it again." And I'm just like, that's got to be the funniest friendship I've ever heard in my
Mm-hmm.
life. The stories they both have about each other. Yeah, I'll watch anything with them. I
Yeah.
genuinely don't care. They're funny. They're hysterical.
Yeah. So I'm stuck in the 90s and I realized so last week or 2 weeks ago I mentioned that there was a documentary about Lisa Frank.
Yeah. How is it?
Okay, so I watched it. And I
Yeah.
have to say, okay, so for anybody who was anyone who was a young girl in the 80s and 90s, and even if you're just a little boy, you might even know who he is. Like, I don't need to tell you who Lisa Frank is. For everyone else, if you remember the folders and stickers and school supplies, the rainbows and dolphins and unicorns, and oh my god, it was just amazing. And it made me realize how much I'm still just a little kid. I still love stickers. I still love rainbows. I still love unicorns. But I watched the documentary, and um, it's kind of crazy. And it's weird because all the people who talked about working there have nothing good to say about it and how horrible it was. And I didn't know that Lisa Frank is a person. Like, I thought it was just a company. Like, no, there's some lady named Lisa Frank.
Yeah. I mean, I
I
would.
didn't know. I don't
It
know. I
was
thought it was a company.
no, on some of the there was a series of folders, I would say probably in the late 90s, early 2000s, that actually had a little paragraph on the back of some of them that talked about Lisa Frank. That's the only reason I ever
Yeah.
knew she was a real person, is because there was like a little
Well,
paragraph on some of the stuff that was like, "Oh, Lisa's this, and this, and she grew up here and here, and decided she liked bright colors and unicorns and
yeah.
all things too."
And you know who wrote all that stuff? Her husband, who she hired as the lead designer,
Yeah,
and he became like the president of the company, and they ended up getting married.
yeah.
And that was part of his whole marketing strategy. Is like in the back of the stickers it said like, "Oh, you can write to us and tell us what you think," and like basically to try to make it more personalized. And he put out the stuff about Lisa and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So they ended up getting divorced, and she just like went for the jugular. And that was the downfall of the company. That's what ruined the whole company. Um, what I think is kind of funny. So her ex-husband, I forget his first name. Let's say his name is John. I don't know. His name is John Green. So they had two sons, Hunter and Forrest. So their kids are Hunter Green and Forrest Green. Like, no joke. Those are the kids' names. Hunter
Oh,
Green and
that's
Forrest Green.
bad.
Yeah.
That's really bad. I mean, Tiny Jai is just a nickname. I would not name her.
Yes.
I call her Minion, but I would not name her Minion for real.
Yeah. Yep,
Like,
those are their
oh
names.
God.
But it's weird. So the ex-husband was in the documentary. Lisa Frank would not participate. She just like provided a statement. So they have two sons. One son is with the dad, and
Yeah.
one son's with the mom. It's kind of like divided on like what the kids took sides.
Mhm.
Um, so of course, because the ex-husband's in it, he makes it seem like Lisa Frank, like she really, like he was the brains behind everything, and she's a horrible person. But we don't hear her side. But then we heard from people like recently who try to get into licensing business deals with her, and like there's lawsuits going on now because they say that basically she just like screwed them over and cost them a lot of money. I'm like, wow, this really doesn't sound good for you. But the statement she provided said like, she loves happiness and rainbows and whatever, and creating art, and that as what I forget what it said, but something about like as the next generation takes over, there's things to come. Stay tuned. So I'm reading that as okay. Well, the kid, her kid's going to take over. So I don't know if Lisa Frank's going to come back, but let me tell you, if they start making rainbow office supplies again, I'm buying them. I'm going to be at work with Lisa Frank supplies if it
I'm
comes back.
genuinely
I'm here
surprised.
for it.
I didn't think the company had completely sunk. I know I hadn't seen anything, but I thought I saw some stuff at the beginning of this school year that was Lisa Frank. Maybe it's just neon colored crap.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
I don't know, but rainbows and rainbow color leopard print, and like I said, unicorns and cute little animals and
Listen,
stickers. I still love stickers.
If it came out with a brewery drink, a mixed drink, I guarantee you it would sell up the shelves from old millennials going, "Oh my God, Lisa Frank has
Yeah,
get like a brightly colored drink. Put some highlighter in it. Get on it."
yeah. But it was a good documentary though. Some of like the behind the scenes stuff, which I'm sure happens at other companies. It's not particular to her company, But it was just interesting. Your skeletons are making a comeback again.
Listen, guys, back off. I'm gonna need them to back off. It is getting. I'm about to send them to a different dimension. They don't knock it off. This is not about you.
So this is just in. Dreadpool is going to be making Death Dealer Rainbow products. Hey man, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. A slapper rainbow and all that stuff. I'm it's a little kid in me. I still love rainbows.
I will come out with a full neon line.
Yeah.
I will do a glitter line. I will do cute animals. I will do non-realistic animals. Mythology.
Yep.
Mythological animals. Is that the right word?
I think it's mythological.
Mythological. There we go.
You were there. You're all around it.
I swear I know the word.
Yeah.
This funny thing happens when you get old. You sometimes forget words when you go to use them. It is what it is. Take it in stride. As long as I don't forget what I'm doing when I walk into the room, it's a good day.
Yeah. When I was a little kid, my dad used to always tell me that I could be, you could be anything you want when you grow up. So then he'd say, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I said, "Well, I want to be Rainbow Bright." And he said, "Well, you can't be Rainbow Bright." I said, "But you just told me I can be anything I want to be, and I want to be Rainbow Bright." And I remember that because the whole reason, my whole thought process is Rainbow Bright has a horse, and she gets to ride on the rainbows. And I wanted to ride on the rainbows on a horse. That was, yep, lifelong dream.
I think we can arrange that at a theme park. We
Yeah.
might be able to work that out. We could do that. We just need some lasers, some fog machines.
Yeah.
a roller coaster or a slow moving ride, either or. Just need a ride that you sit
Okay,
in.
so like they probably don't have like the ET ride. You just need like the ET ride, but you're on a horse and a rainbow. They could
Yeah.
do it. And
Fun.
it's the 40th anniversary this year of Rainbow Bright. Somebody should have done it, man.
In case anyone was ever wondering and doesn't already know, the ET ride will always be at Universal. They legally can never get rid of it. It will forever be there while they change
Interesting.
the rest of the park. Yep. If you think about it, almost every other ride has gone some kind of division or is something
Hmm.
they've worked on it and things like
Yeah.
that. They've upgraded things, changed things, or they've taken the ride out entirely and put something else in. ET has been the same ride since it was put in. It has never changed. They've updated
Hmm.
some of the things in there, but they've never changed anything as far as like you're riding on bicycles with the baskets and you see everything. It's in their contract with Steven Spielberg. They cannot change anything. They can't get rid of it. They have, as long as the parks are open, ET's open.
Interesting. That's a good trivia point to remember.
Mm.
That was a good contract he got then.
Oh hell yeah! He was one of the first ones to sign the contract with them when they decided to open the theme park, though. So makes sense why he got the best deal. He's the first
Exactly.
one to
Yeah.
sign a
Yeah, they're
contract.
not doing that again.
Well, not to mention they get so many different things from his movies anyway. They've got
Hmm.
the dinosaur rides. They've got they had Jaws.
Yep.
They've got a bunch of different things. Those are all Spielberg's.
They're like, it's not Christmas. It's still Halloween.
I say nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. There's nothing there. There's
Uh,
nothing at all there. But yeah, they already get a bunch of different things from them anyway, so they probably don't care anymore at this point because everything else brings in a ton of money for them.
oh, yeah.
So I mean, personally, I'm glad, I'm grateful that that one ride is actually going to stay that way because all the new rides seem to be very similar, almost the exact same. Actually, sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Spider-Man was in. Uh, they opened Spider-Man down here. California wanted Spider-Man. They couldn't put Spider-Man in California for whatever reason, probably because of the Disney contract or something.
Hmm.
And the Universal in California wanted something, and they couldn't get the Spider-Man, but they wanted the equivalent of Spider-Man. They wanted that ride with something else.
Okay.
Then the Need for what the hell? Fast and Furious. They made the Fast and Furious ride. The Fast and Furious ride and the Spider-Man ride are the exact same ride, just different characters. So they opened Fast and Furious in California, and Orlando went, wait a minute, that's not fair. We want Fast and Furious. We
Yeah.
got Fast and Furious fans. So Universal has both Spider-Man and Fast and Furious,
It's
and
the same ride.
if you ride them right after one after another, they are the exact same ride, different characters. Yeah,
Are
which
they
are
ever going
all
to
kind of
stop?
based on Simpsons.
So are they ever going to stop making Fast and Furious movies? Those, ugh,
No,
dumb.
no, those guys are
They still
contracted
make enough
until they
money,
die.
too.
Those guys are contracted until they die. They're going to be like 90 years old talking about, we got to do this heist. It's only us that can save the world.
He's
There,
like grabbing his walker as he gets to the car.
family.
Yeah, RWK said that makes sense since all the Fast and Furious movies are the same trash now.
Well, it's always funny to me because I mean, I personally feel like, and I've ridden all these rides, I feel like the Simpsons ride started it all. Simpsons, you don't actually leave the room on the ride. It's got these 360 projections all around you, and the car itself shakes. So it makes you think through different tricks that you're actually moving. And you do, you feel like you're
Okay.
genuinely moving, but you actually never leave the room once you're in. You're stationary.
Yep.
But the ride and everything make you feel like you're moving. Well, they took that and then they made Spider-Man, which they do move you around a little bit, but you're not moving from room to room to room to room to room the way you think you are. It's a lot of projections.
Hmm.
And they did the same thing for Fast and Furious. It's all the same ride. They're all the same ride. Like,
Dreadpool said Simpsons ride used to be Back to the Future ride.
yes,
I rode the Back to the Future ride.
it's the old Back to the Future ride. Back to the Future. Actually, yeah, Back to the Future probably started at first. I should probably blame them. Thank you, dear, for reminding me. Damn you, Marty McFly.
Sir X-Man wants to ride where he could fly the Colonel Viper, which were from Battlestar Galactica.
Hmm.
Like you clarified what Colonel Vipers were, but I still don't know. I still know what that is. For anyone else though, who knows Battlestar Galactica, I'm sure they know. Perry misses Back to the Future ride and the Hanna-Barbera ride.
Oh, I used to love the Hanna-Barbera ride.
I was only at Universal once, so I only remember certain things. I remember E.T., Back to the Future, Twister. So
Yeah,
we all
that
got to
was
stand on
fun.
the porch of the house, and the cow flew by.
That one was fun. Yeah,
Yep.
they don't have that one anymore. It's a shame too. That one was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. But when I watch it, so I watched, yeah, I watched that documentary. I also watched, okay, I don't know if you know this about me. I don't remember. I probably have said it because I talk about it a lot, but I'm a big true crime fan. So I watched the John Benet Ramsey documentary.
Okay, all right. Do we have new theories on who done it?
Okay, so I always thought, now keep in mind though, she was murdered. I don't know, I think it was like in eighth grade or something. So I was young, but old enough to like kind of know what's going on, right? So I always thought that her brother did it and the father covered it up.
Yeah.
But then I watched a documentary, but I didn't realize her brother was only 9 when it happened. I thought he was older. He was only 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, he didn't do it. And then I always thought that the father carried the body upstairs because the body was in the basement. I thought the father carried the body upstairs and then they called the cops. No. The wife came downstairs and there was a ransom note at the bottom of the stairs. So they called the police. The police came over, and because it was a missing person, they called some friends to come over like for moral support. So now there's a bunch of people in the house. The cops looked at her bedroom, and I don't really know if they looked anywhere else, but they were there for hours. And the dad's getting antsy, so the cop says like, "Hey, you and your friend go search the house." Right? They just try to give him something to do. Go search the house. So their house was like this really weird layout. It was kind of big. So they thought, because the parents' bedroom was at the top floor, so they thought we're going to start at the bottom and just go all the way up. So they go down to the basement, and then that's when they found her.
Hmm.
So I'm like, wait a second, the cops were in the house for hours? And no one knew that she was downstairs? Like, I don't know, it was crazy. So I totally think that it was not anyone connected to the family at all.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm kind of wondering is if they're redoing DNA testing, because the documentary came out, so the police came out, I don't know, they like tweeted it or something, and they were like, oh, 2025 is, going to be the year we're going to have a break in the case. And at first I was like, okay, they're just trying to like be optimistic. But then I'm watching the documentary and I'm wondering like, maybe they are going to redo the DNA to see, is the test they did before flawed and it matched somebody that they've already investigated, or now with all the online databases and stuff, can they go compare it to see if you can kind of track down who it belongs to? So I don't know. It's a sad story, and I think too that because she was in child beauty pageants,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the suspicion on the parents
Mm-hmm.
stems from pearl clutching over, oh my God, how could you let your daughter be in this beauty pageant? Now, I'm not defending child beauty pageants. I think it's kind of weird, but I also don't think that means that you're abusing your child,
No, I mean, I think
right?
I think they're weird, I was in a few childhood pageants. I mean,
Yeah.
they were, being in them's weird.
Hmm.
Watching them's weird for me now as an
Yeah.
adult. I wouldn't do that to my child personally, but I mean, I can understand the appeal for other people, and
Hmm.
that's fine for some people. Do I think some of these things have gotten a bit much? I do. I really do. I don't think under
Yeah.
any circumstance a child should have $1,000 gown. I feel like that's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
And kids don't need all that. It's not, and it's got nothing to do with, oh, they're too made up or no, no, no. It's got nothing to do with that. I just feel like it's too uncomfortable for the kids themselves. As
Yeah.
someone who wears gowns, they're not comfortable, man. Tulle is not
Hmm.
comfortable. Um, Costume satin is not comfortable, and that's what a lot of those dresses are made out of. It's a ton of tulle and costume satin and things, and those are not comfortable fabrics. They
Yeah.
are nightmares for anyone who has
Yeah.
a sensory issue with fabrics.
Hmm.
Like,
But I just think what I think what amazes me and watching, because it's a shame. It's a shame a child was murdered and they have never been able to find who did it, and that's just really it's sad. It's sad that it happened, but then it's sad that there's no closure surrounding it. But what I noticed, and I think about this a lot of the crime things I watch, I understand that most police departments don't deal with murders, right? It's just not something that happens everywhere. But
really?
you deal with crime scenes, and it amazes me how many things are will just never be solved because the cops blew the crime scene in the beginning, right? They didn't secure it, they didn't investigate it properly, they didn't take what they should have. People came and contaminated it, and it happens through a whole host of crimes. And I think even if you don't deal with murders, like wouldn't that be like cop 101, that something happens, step 1 secure the crime scene, step 2 take some photos, step 3 collect your evidence? I mean, that's what I would think. I can't believe, even though you thought she was missing, again, if you want to have moral support, but like, why did you not say, okay, you cannot leave the room? Like, you have to stay in the kitchen, right? Like,
I can't imagine why they didn't ask that they search the house first
yeah,
for the child. I mean, that would be my, if I, now granted, I mean, I'm just coming from a mom's perspective. My child used to play hide and go sleep. This child would
mm-hmm.
hide in various areas in her room. She'd be in her room every time, but she would hide in her room and fall asleep
Yeah.
when she was a toddler. When we first gave her toddler bed, her favorite thing to do was fall asleep underneath it, for crying out loud.
Well, there was a ransom note, so I think they saw the ransom note, and that's why they just called the cops immediately.
How
But
they
why
come
did?
across the ransom note at the foot of the stairs and not continue going into the stairs.
Well, like I said, the way their house was set up was weird. So I think that she came down the stairs. It was a little spiral staircase into like the kitchen area. She found the note, and I think she went back up to the bedroom, and she was not in the bedroom. So I think that they only looked in the bedrooms and they called the police. But why would the police not have looked, even if you say, okay, this is an abduction, why wouldn't the police have searched the house to find out how the person got in and out of the house, right? Why wouldn't you search the house for clues?
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, it just blows my mind how many crimes it just seems like, well, you didn't stand a chance from the first moment because you lost any edge that you could have had. But I don't know.
I mean, I think most criminals are kind of hoping that they get Barney Fife,
Yeah.
the investigating officer.
Yeah.
I know I personally, should I, if I did commit a crime, that would be my utmost hope, is that I would get Barney Fife on the case, because then I'm guaranteed to just walk away. Not that I would, not that I ever would. Things like that are premeditated. We don't do that here. That's an extra charge. No, thank you. But I mean, and then it cracks me too, because they say that like half the time, most of the time, when somebody's murdered, it's somebody they're close with that does it to them. It's somebody they know. Because I mean, think about it.
Yep.
Other than your random serial killers, who cares enough about the random? I'm gonna be honest. There's no one, nobody I give a shit enough about.
Yep.
To be like, you know what? I'm gonna risk everything. I'm gonna risk my freedom. I like food. I like food that tastes good. I've heard prison food is crap.
Ugh.
You don't get snacks like you do when you're outside. I can't just walk out and go to the store and buy
Yeah.
some cosmic brownies. Like,
You can't go out and get your nachos in prison.
they don't have nacho cheese. Biggest problem ever. You know what I'm saying? So like, there is nobody I'm going to risk that for, and I'm damn sure am not risking it for a random ass stranger who may or may not have irritated me at that moment.
Yeah.
No, no, no. It's somebody that really done did it. Somebody you know pretty well
Yeah.
that you can't escape from. Otherwise, why else would you do it? There really is no point. Quit the job, move, break up with the douchebag. Like, there's
Yeah.
so many other options before coming to that, but I would
Yeah.
say you'd have to know someone in order to want to actually kill someone. That's just my theory of
I
it.
agree. Very few crimes are random, but it was a really good documentary, and it had a lot of information that I didn't know about the case.
Didn't one of
Um,
them actually kill themselves because of the controversy behind her?
no, so the mother passed away. She had ovarian cancer, and she actually was in remission shortly before the murder happened. Like she had been sick, she was going through treatment, and she was in remission. Um, and then she passed, I think, 8 or 9 years after the murder. Her cancer came back.
Hmm.
Um, no, I don't think no one killed themselves over it, but there were definitely different people that they investigated. Somebody did get arrested because he admitted to it. He confessed, but then they initially arrested him, but then they realized, wait a second, your DNA doesn't match. You didn't do it. Although what I wonder about that guy is he knew a whole lot about the murder, and I don't know if all that stuff was released in the media or was it stuff that he shouldn't have known. The fact that they didn't say it makes me think it must have been in the media because because if he shouldn't have known the info, I would assume they would have said, "Hey, here's all the things the guy admitted to," and
There
he had no
was
way to know that. So
I do remember when that happened, and there was so much that they released about that case. I remember thinking that it was kind of a lot of information, and I actually even questioned how they were gonna, if they ever found someone,
yeah,
how they would get a jury because it was so publicized and so much was put forth. I mean, I knew the color of the blanket she was wrapped in at one point in time. I think it was like pink with daisies or something,
hmm,
flowers or something on it. It was like her comforter or something. All these details that
yeah,
we should not have known. We should not have known that at one point in time she was down in the basement. We shouldn't have known that she had an accident and wet herself. These are things we should
oh,
never have known, and they were all out in the news wide open.
see, I don't think she did have an accident and wet herself. One of the cops who investigated, that's his whole theory. His whole theory is she had an accident and wet herself, and her mom was so mad that she accidentally killed her.
Hmm.
Like she didn't mean to, but she was like in a rage and she did it. That's his entire theory, and I don't buy it for 1 second because they have photos of the bed and there's no evidence of anything being soiled. The bed obviously was slept in. Like I don't know, wouldn't you be able to check the washing machine to see if she cleaned up, like to cover her tracks? I don't know. And it just seems like everyone had nice things to say about her. Like you would think if she was like an unhinged person that gets in a huge rage about that there would have been rumblings from other people about like, oh, I saw her get mad once. No, she was the nicest lady. I don't know. I think that was just. I think there's just a crackpot theory because they have nothing to go on. But
Yeah. No, I mean, unfortunately, I don't think we're ever going to know because, like you said, they botch things so bad.
yeah,
Like I said, even if they were to find somebody, there's so much information that had been pushed out into the media. The pool's contaminated. You
yeah,
cannot find anyone new. Everyone has a theory. Don't care who you are. Don't care what age you are. As soon as someone mentions John Bernay Ramsey, everyone's got an idea, an opinion, and a thought.
yeah.
You will never find anyone to sit on a jury pool. So even if they
No,
found somebody, it's a mute point because they're not going to be able to go on trial, and that just brings a whole different set of problems in and of itself.
yeah,
So I mean,
Like I said, I hope that they're gonna I hope that there's DNA evidence preserved that they can retest, and I hope that will end up giving them some leads. But we'll see. Anyways, with a good documentary. If you're a true crime fan, check it out. It's on Netflix. So Sir X Man asked in the chat, "What's everyone's favorite food to eat on holidays?" The chat is currently going off the rails of talking about nacho cheese.
I see
So
this.
yes, he needs to know why you're giving your husband nacho cheese. And I don't really know what. Like, I'm from the north. You can't. Why does being from the north mean you can't have nacho cheese on anything at Christmas?
Okay.
I'm from the north too, and I didn't get that rule. Wasn't in my memo.
I think I think Dreadpool was misunderstood because my favorite food group is nacho cheese. Anything you can put nacho cheese
Yeah.
on, I will eat and love. Okay, I don't care what it is. You can give me broccoli, put some nacho cheese on it, I will eat it like a snack. Don't care, doesn't matter. But broccoli is good regardless. So that's not. I guess that's not really a good example. But still, um, I do like nacho cheese. It is my favorite. However, I do not eat nacho cheese or nachos on Christmas. For Christmas food, I do the basic white girl diet. I get a turkey, get some ham, mashed potatoes, or scalloped potatoes, depending on how I feel. I'm the potato person. I cook the potatoes. And then green bean casserole, homie. Same things you have on Thanksgiving for the most part.
Do you have nacho cheese scallop potatoes?
I do not. I've never done that. I've done like a 7 cheese scallop potato, and that was I always add a lot of cheese to a
Yeah.
lot of I like cheese. I like cheese. I will devour blocks of cheese happily. Um, and right now I'm thinking about a snack, and I got blocks of cheese in my fridge. I'm going to go eat. Or as soon as Deadpool gets back, I might take my car and go get me some nachos and cheese because
Mm-hmm.
damn it, I deserve it. I've done a lot for people. Now it's good. Deadpool, I'm gonna need you to pick me up some nachos and cheese on your way home. Thank you. I can do that, okay? Before anyone gets on my ass about
Yeah.
ordering my husband around, he lives a very privileged life in December. He doesn't have to think, make plans, buy, or do anything.
Except pick up nachos and cheese on the way home.
Exactly. Yes, because I make all of the plans. I tell him where to go, and I make all the foods, and I buy all the presents and wrap all the presents. Because if you saw his wrapping, it's impressive. It's unique. He's pretty though, so it's okay. He's very pretty, so it's okay. I'll let him deal with it. So the least he can do is bring me nachos and cheese.
Sir X Man's eating honey baked ham on Christmas is his must have, and he said cheddar cheese scallop potatoes are awesome.
They are very good.
Okay, so I have some good news stories that I've been holding on to. I saw these, and I have 3 news stories, and they are all linked together by murder and crime. So, but I
You
promise you, this is not going to be like sad. Like, these are going to be funny. Don't worry.
Either way,
Okay.
you got my attention. It wasn't me. It has nothing to do with me. I am all about it. The
Okay.
weirder it is, the better it is.
So the first one is this is from Spain, actually. Okay. So the Google streetcar went through this town for the first time in 14 years. Okay. First time in 14 years, the Google streetcar goes through the town. As the Google streetcar is coming through, there's a guy, and he has this red sedan, and he is loading a giant plastic bag into the trunk of this red sedan. Okay. As it turns out, that's what helped him get convicted because somebody, where the heck is it? Where do they say this guy's from? Some guy from Cuba was reported missing in October 2023 because a relative got text messages and he thought they were kind of suspicious. Okay. So these text messages said, oh, he met a woman, he was leaving Spain, he's getting rid of his phone. And like, this is kind of weird. As it turns out, the guy's wife left him and went to Spain. So he goes to Spain to try to find his wife. Well, as it turns out, the wife and the new boyfriend murdered him. So they already like were suspecting them.
Uh-huh.
So like this isn't what made caught them, but this
Uh-huh.
definitely was like evidence they used against them because you can see from the Google streetcar the dude is loading the dead guy into the trunk of his car. I was just I like I said 14 years and the Google streetcar happens to drive by as you're
Somebody
disposing a dead body.
sounds like the talented Mr. Ripley, but like the Wish version, like the really bad version of the talented Mr. Ripley. Um, that is interesting. I don't know how you. I mean, maybe I'm looking. Maybe they have different Google Map vehicles all over the world in different areas and things. But like the Google Map truck that has been in my areas that I've seen in person, um, they're not really missable. They're very much noticeable, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know
it's a
how you would
car with a
notice.
gazillion cameras on it.
And you
So
can
I
hear them shuddering sometimes too. Like I mean, again, I don't know what they use in different areas, but
yeah.
I know by me, I've heard them.
Okay, and I can understand that the car's behind you so you don't see it coming. But then as soon as that car passed you, wouldn't you go, "Oh crap, that thing just took my photos?" Wouldn't you be looking at Google Earth every single day waiting for the new imagery to be uploaded so then you can report it so they blur it? Right? Cuz
No,
like if you go on, you could be like, "Oh, there's a person." You can get them to blur your house. Right? Wouldn't you be checking that to be like, "Please blur, please blur?"
no, because if I found out that Google Maps had taken pictures of me after I committed a crime,
Well,
getting
true,
rid of
you'd leave,
evidence,
but
I'm going to move. I'm going to
true.
get rid of the vehicle in which they saw me put things into the back of, or I might just let it get stolen. I mean, I'm sure there's a ghetto crime filled area somewhere.
Yeah.
Find it. Leave the keys on the hood. I don't know. Find a crackhead. Hand him the keys. Here you go.
Yeah.
Like, hand it to some homeless people. Let them sleep in it. Get it contaminated. No, I'm not gonna wait for Google to pop up the picture before I. No, I'm moving. I'm selling the vehicle. I'm getting rid of things. I'm changing my name. I'm leaving the country.
Yeah,
That's
it
it.
was a little yeah, it was a little tiny town. It was just
Oh,
like I
other
said, I
reason to get the hell out. It's a tiny town. People are gonna know that it's you from the back of your head.
and it's funny because they show the photo of the car and like this is the only car in the street. This is just it's an empty street with one car and a dude loading a dead body in the car. I just you know
I thought you were gonna tell me like it was his garbage wrapped up to look like a body because he knew the camera was coming and the cops made a serious mistake. That would have been funny.
nope.
That would be something I would do. There was somebody that did that, and I can't remember where, but they did that up to Google Maps a few years back. It was a family that had done it. It was like a father and son,
Mhm.
and they set it up to look like the son was like digging a hole to bury the dad. The dad's like laying in the middle of the.
Yep.
It is a funny as hell. I mean that's perfect right there.
Yeah. Yeah, Captain Catch said the Google car just drove past him the other month, and it's literally a car with a massive tripod on top of it. I don't understand how this guy did not see the car drive by and know that it took his photo. I don't know. I love it. I saw that and I was like, great. Well, hey, at least they got caught now. They know who did it.
That's stupidity at its finest right there.
Yeah.
That's one of those moments you go, someone really should have told you you were too stupid to be a criminal. Like,
Well,
I've said that to people and they've gotten offended, but I'm like, no, no, no. I'm not saying it to be mean. I'm saying it so you don't end up in prison for the rest of your life. You're too dumb to be a criminal. Like, let's be real. Some
well
people just aren't meant to live.
see, this is like you know how like Final Destination, the premise is that you can't escape death. This is like Final Destination, but you can't escape getting caught. Right? Like no matter what this guy's doing, like no, the universe is going to make sure you still get caught.
I'm impressed in this day and age people still try and commit crimes because it's almost impossible to get away with them most of the time now because you've got cameras everywhere Phones everywhere, DNA evidence now. They can pick up a hair off of the
Yeah.
back of your head that didn't belong to the person. For crying out loud, they find pubes on people. Like, what?
Mhm.
How minuscule do you have an arm hair? Like, I don't know why people bother committing crimes and not expecting to be caught. But then again, like I said, a lot of people are just too dumb to be criminals. They should not even try. They really shouldn't.
Well, I'm glad that the dumb people are criminals because then we catch them. So,
It's true. It's true. Got a point
so,
there.
the other one I saw was, and this one's actually from upstate New York. This one's from Rochester. So the headline was: Two New York men die after fertilizing marijuana plants with bat poop. And I was like, okay, I have to read this. Like, this is just weird. So apparently, these two dudes, one of them was 59, one was 64. Um, and the guy who died, he has a history of emphysema as well as heavy tobacco marijuana use. So apparently, he had a really severe bat. He had a heavy bat infestation in his attic. Okay, so his whole attic is just covered in bat poop. So he decided, oh, I'm going to use that to fertilize my marijuana that I'm growing in the backyard. So then he told that was a 64-year-old. So then he told his 59-year-old friend, and he bought his bat poop online. Um, so then, because this, like, why would you ever think to do that? Apparently, though, it makes very good fertilizer, but you have to take, like, really good precautions because to make sure you don't get sick from it. So
Mm.
what they think happened is that they were breathing in fungus spores and then getting pneumonia. But they said the guy he had serious weight loss over the course of 6 weeks, and he had a sore throat, so he couldn't swallow. And then it turns out, yeah, he had a histoplasmosis infection. So the one guy died pretty quickly. The other guy, actually, they gave him medicine. He was making a recovery, but then he got worse. So I don't know if he still like continued to fertilize his plants or he just got sick. But I was like, who on earth thinks to themselves, I have this really bad bat problem in my attic. Let me go get my shovel and scoop all this bat poop out to my pot plants. Who,
I
like, right?
personally
How
would
does
be
this
calling
thought?
pest control. That's,
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. How does this thought process
I've heard that
happen?
I've heard bat poop is a good fertilizer in the past, but I've heard that it can be like a double-edged sword because
Mm-hmm.
while it's extremely good fertilizer, they're high in there's something that they carry that's not dangerous to them, but it is dangerous to humans.
Yeah, it's some mold spore that's in it, and if you breathe it in, that you're going to get infections.
Yeah,
But
I just remember that there's some I what was it? They call it
well,
guano and they use it for a
yes,
couple of different things, but there's like there's certain types of bats poop they use. They don't just take it from like the vampire bat and the fruit bat. They pick one.
yeah,
And I believe it's only for like particular things in particular seasons, like a lot of things. So yeah, no,
but
just having bats in your attic and picking up their poop. That's like having rats in your wall and digging out their
yeah.
nest for fertile. The hell, man!
Well,
Call a pest.
what's the thing? If I have bats in my attic, I'm calling an exterminator because I don't want the bat to get into my house. And then if you get bit by a bat, you might get rabies. Like, if there's bats, I'm calling somebody. But not only that, but how many bats and how long were the bats in his attic that his attic was covered in guano that he was able to shovel it out for fertilizer, right? Like, your first thought is like, oh man, this is great. This is gonna help. This is gonna help my yield. Like,
Here's
no,
to hoping they just condemn his house because I can't imagine
yeah,
how in the hell you'd clean that. That's soaked into the wood and possibly the foundation.
yeah,
Ooh, ooh. Oh, it's got to smell bad. Have you ever smelled bad poop? It smells bad. Like, it is not like cow poop smells like poop. Okay. It
mm-hmm,
smells like cow poop. It is a very distinctive smell.
yep.
Bat poop is no different, but it has an even worse smell. It
Ugh.
lingers much longer. It's very much like a try to think of an animal's poop to compare it to.
But if he
I
had that
can't think
much
of
in
it.
his house, his whole house must have just reeked,
Oh, I know. I know what to
right?
compare it to. Chicken poop. Have you ever smelled a
Yes,
large
yes,
quantity? It's got like a very sour, very
yes.
oh, there you go. That is very similar to
But
what bat poop. It's nasty. I
if
can't
he had,
imagine
yeah,
living
if
in
he
that
had
house.
that much for fertilizer, yeah, what did his house smell like just leading up to this?
What did he smell like when he left his house?
Yeah,
Because that stuff,
it's
like poop, the smell of all of that stuff, like lingers in your skin and in your hair and on your clothes.
mm-hmm.
Ugh, oh,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no. There's something. People need Jesus.
they do.
Y'all need help.
But okay, so if you die, whether it's because you someone murders you, whether you're fertilizing and breathing in bat poop, whether you choke on all the nacho cheese you're eating, I don't know. You need to tell your family that you want to be buried. You want your services in Columbus, Ohio. Okay,
Okay.
a funeral home in Columbus, Ohio, is
Uh-huh.
in the process of getting a liquor license.
Yes.
Yes, Hunter Triplett, the funeral home's owner, said he wants to be able to provide guests with a
Hold on, wait.
livelier
This
vibe.
one, this is one of those things. It's a full screen moment. Go ahead, continue. That is a full screen moment.
Yes, Hunter Triplett, the funeral home's owner, said he wants to be able to provide guests with a livelier vibe if that's what they want, how they want to celebrate their loved ones. My role in this position is to kind of be a party planner for dead people, be more of a celebration of life rather than more of the multi day traditional services, which cost a lot of money.
That is
Yep,
the best thing I
yes,
have ever heard.
yep.
Liquor license.
The cemetery is right across the street. He wants his services to be easy to manage as a one stop shop.
I can't even argue. For years I've said, since they insist on having funerals and wakes and things, I've always said I don't want any of that. I would rather you rent out like a bar or a club and just get everybody hammered. Give them free drinks. I want top shelf liquor too included because it's cheap shit, just more expensive. And I'd like a buffet style of all my favorite foods for everyone to munch on.
But see now you're cutting out the middleman. You don't have to rent out a bar or a club. It's all right at the funeral home. Right
I
there,
might
you're
need
ready to go.
I might need to
So,
make sure it's big enough for my
so
people.
then so then I read, it wasn't in this article I had pulled up, but a different article I found about it. It said that there's a few states that outlaw food and drink being served at a funeral home. There were like three different states mentioned.
Oh, the hell with them.
Well, wait, but then I was like, wait, food? I never thought about food. I was like, who's going to the funeral home? Like, you're going to a wake and they've got appetizers? Like, can you imagine you go to a wake and there's pigs in a blanket? Like, what? That's probably not what it is, but that's what I was thinking in my head. Like, what food are you serving at a
I'm
funeral
confused.
home?
Who goes to funerals and doesn't eat?
Do
Okay,
you eat at the funeral home
not
though?
after, no, not
Yeah,
at
that's what I'm
the
saying. At the
funeral,
funeral
but
home, you don't.
we eat afterwards. Like that's confused. I've been to a few funerals and I don't know what group they belong to necessarily because there really wasn't any like telltale signs. I don't know what the religions were per se, other than your basic, I guess, cat Christian. But yeah, I've been to a few services where like afterwards they don't go eat or they don't drink, and that has always baffled me in particular because for a very long time I thought every funeral was an Irish funeral and an Irish wake and an Irish party afterwards.
Hmm.
And imagine my shock when I found out that no, not everyone gets drunk after a wake. I was like, I'm sorry, what now? You stay sober for
You're
this?
like, wait, when's the beer start?
Why did we rent a limo for this
Oh,
then? Like, why did we rent town cars and like, why in the hell did I rent a driver for this if I'm not getting
yeah.
drunk afterwards? This makes no sense, folks. Makes sense. That's whatever. And then again, too, I guess maybe it has a lot to do with the family of alcoholics I have, but that's not the point.
But see, now I just love that this guy wants to one stop shop. He's going to be your dead person party planner. Like, can you imagine that you don't know about this, right? Because you're not
I
in the
want
family.
strippers.
You're just you're strippers. Someone probably could do that for you.
There
But
are still the scene.
can you just imagine though that you're like, oh my gosh, look at this. Somebody, my coworker's mother passed away, but we're friends, so I'm gonna go pay my respects. And you show up to the funeral home, and everyone's like doing shots at the funeral home. You'd be
That
so
would be
confused.
the
You'd be like, what?
best funeral I've ever been to. I don't care if it's for my enemy. If I
Yeah,
walk into a funeral home and I tell them, "Oh, my condolences. I'm so sorry for your loss." 'Cause let's face it, that's what everybody says.
yeah.
It's the same line everywhere. Okay. I'm so sorry for your loss. And they're like, "It's cool here." And they hand me a shot. I would be like,
Bottoms up.
"I'm so sorry." I might be able to cry at a funeral for a time. I mean, like, they were so nice. It's such a shame they're gone. Okay. Yeah.
I saw that headline and I totally thought that it was an Onion article, and I was like, "Oh crap, this is a legit thing." And I guess they're the first funeral home in Ohio who has applied for their liquor license, which not surprising they're the first.
Oh,
Yeah, so if something happens this holiday season, you have a tragedy. Hopefully, you are in the Columbus area.
or Deadpool wants me to tell everybody the story about his mom's funeral. His mom passed away a few years ago. He's Greek, so we did a Greek funeral. We eat food after the funeral. We take the priest with us because that's what we do. We take the priest with us. Nice guy, real nice guy, about my age, pretty laid back. And we're sitting down to order, and I order steak and potatoes because what else do you eat but, steak and potatoes? Cry out loud. My steak came out, and I looked down at my plate and instantly started laughing. And I'm looking at my husband going, "Okay, I'm going to need you to like scoot closer to the table and kind of like block my plate." Priest is like 2 people away from me. He's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "Well, look at my steak." And he looks down and he starts laughing. And I'm like, "I'm going to need you to block the priest. I don't need the priest to see my steak." I know it was his mother that did it. If she came down just to send me a cock and balls steak shank, I had a full on penis on my plate in the shape of a steak. This couldn't get any worse. This couldn't get any. I'm sitting 2 feet away from a friggin' priest for crying
Priest.
out loud. Can't get any worse. But it does, because wait, there's more. Can't
Oh.
hide it from the priest. He looks over, sees it, kind of laughs, doesn't say anything, just kind of giggles and, goes along. And he's just like, praying not to pay attention to. Well, a little while later, I'm talking. That is not what I asked for. I asked for warm nacho cheese.
That's all they had.
That's a disappointing moment. Thank you for trying, dear. I'll still eat it.
You have to put it in the microwave.
I'm gonna eat it in Nala. So I'm talking later, and I am trying to avoid being around the priest at this moment because I'm kind of ranting. I'm a little upset. I don't remember anymore what I was upset about, but I was upset about something, so I'm kind of giving a little rant. And I drop a couple of curse words in the middle of my sentences like I normally do because I've got the mouth of someone who should not be around people in public ever. Very dirty, filthy mouth. It's fine. And I happen to just say the best one of them all. I drop a fuck in the middle of my sentence, turn around to the priest standing right here, face to face.
Oh, hi, Father.
Now, normal people would look at the father standing there and say, "I'm sorry, I apologize, I didn't mean for you to hear that." Not me, though. I'm
Did you
not
turn around?
normal.
Did you turn around and say, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
I turned around with shit. Like, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I did not mean for you to hear that, Father. And he's like, "It's okay. We all cussed." child. Oh my God. I can crawl into a hole now any moment. Any moment. Yeah. Yeah. Needless to say, he hasn't really pushed me to go to church. That's okay. I'd probably burst into flames if we're being honest at this point. I amaze myself every time I do not spontaneously combust when I touch holy ground. Yeah. You can't embarrass yourself in front of a priest.
See, I bet you the priest, though, the priest honestly probably loved this funeral home because I think priests drink more than normal people,
For the
which
most
leads
part.
which leads me to believe that they're probably around people like, oh, it's okay, my child. Everybody curses. Guy probably goes home and gets in his car and is like, man, that was so fucking long. Can you believe this? Like he's probably cursing himself, right?
Honestly, he probably does because I'll tell you what, you mentioned that. I'm not even going to lie. Greek funerals are long. Like, okay, I've been to Catholic funerals, Christian funerals. I've even been to a Jewish funeral before. I would have to say that Greek funerals by far probably are some of the longer ones that I've experienced personally. They are very long. And it doesn't help when the equipment breaks down like it did for my mother-in-law.
What kind
She
of
had a great sense of humor, so I feel like she did all this shit on purpose.
yeah.
It was like she everything between the funeral home till her actual burial, she's in a mausoleum. Everything that could have gone wrong did for her. Like everything that could have went wrong. The lift to put her up into her final resting place broke. Okay. They had to rent one from another funeral or from another burial from another cemetery and
Yeah.
bring it over. And the refrigeration system broke.
Oh no.
Um, like it was just one thing
Yeah.
on top of another. I think when they went to transport her the one time, the truck got a flat. It was just like a series of unfortunate events, and it was like, and I kept telling my husband, I'm like, we could get angry about it, but
Yeah.
hear me out. When have you heard of half of this shit ever happening to anybody in the history of ever?
Yeah.
I mean, really, how often do lifts break down at cemeteries? Not that
Yeah.
often. They're hydraulic systems. You oil them, you make sure they've got gas, and you're good to go. But no, hers broke down twice. Like the marble slab, what they couldn't get the marble slab off of her space, and so we had to actually move her to a different spot because they couldn't get the marble slab off to place her in it. One thing after another.
You know those cemetery workers, they're just like, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever because they're like, here's this solemn event and like the thing breaks and what do we do? You know that they were just, pardon the terminology, but they were just dying inside.
I feel like I'm pretty sure that the second and third time we went out there, though, they were probably dying trying to figure out what the hell was wrong with us. Because,
Yeah.
again, I'm not going to sit there and let everyone get all upset about something we have no control over. So I'm making bad jokes because that's what I do.
Yeah.
My husband makes bad jokes because that's what he does. We deal with bad times with humor. So we're making jokes and kind of snickering, trying not to laugh because we're in a cemetery. So it's not really polite to be laughing and you're loud. So we're trying to but of course we're in the mausoleum area where everything echoes. So you kind of hear a little stifled every few feet. And anytime anybody look at us, we're just like. So I'm sure they were probably trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with these people. Like, we finally got a resting space. We're like, okay, well, now you can hang out and chill. Stop breaking things.
Yep.
You're in your spot. Relax. Stop breaking stuff. Did she listen? No.
No, of course
No.
not.
Why would she ever listen? She listened to me in life. She's damn sure not listening to me in death.
No.
So. No, I like to say that, yeah, anytime something embarrassing like a dick-shaped steak happens, My mother-in-law is to blame. But who else gets one of the? Not many people can say they got that. Thanks, Mom. Appreciate you, Mama. Great job.
And out of all the people had to go, it was you. It was yours. It wasn't anyone else at the table.
As if I'm not already dealing with enough as it is. My father-in-law
Yeah.
tolerates me. So I'm trying to be on my absolute best behavior and not draw any attention to myself and do not, because unfortunately, too, this all happened around my funeral or my birthday. So it is extremely awkward the whole way around
Yeah.
because at one point in time, people are coming in giving me their condolences, and in the same breath, they're wishing me a happy birthday. Like, yeah, I'd like to climb into a hole with
Yeah.
you. Can you scooch over there, Mana? I want to climb in with you.
Yeah.
If you don't mind. Yeah. I'll never forget that dinner. Memorable moment. Most memorable after funeral dinner I've ever been to in my entire life.
Oh, I love it. Hey, at least you got something funny though to laugh about, you know? Right? At least you don't look back just devastated. At least you look back of like, yep, she got me good.
Oh, she was forever pulling pranks on me. So that's not unlike her. That was her final going out with a bang, or so I would hope, but not really. She's still, anytime I get anything shaped funny, I'm like, I know that was you. I'd appreciate it if you'd stop.
Yeah. See, I told Perry if I die before him, I want him to like send emails from like as if I'm sending emails, like update my Facebook status, like mess with people. He doesn't want to do it though. He won't do it. But I think it'd be hilarious, that right? Like everyone came to my funeral and here I am like, hey guys, when I get my wings, it's kind of hot. Is it supposed to be so hot? Right? Like I don't know, like I just think it'd be funny to like post as if it were me from the afterlife. But yeah, I know he would never do it, but
That
I
is
tried.
hilarious. That's too funny. That's too funny. I have a friend of mine. He and I have a deal actually. When he dies, um, if I'm still alive, I have to show up to his funeral dressed as death and stand in the back and not say
Yes.
anything. And then I'm to point to, if someone he does not like shows up, I'm to point to them as if they're next. This is
Nice. I like that.
this is his guarantee that people he doesn't like are going to show up and try and be like, oh, I'm so sorry, he's gone. He's like, nope, I need you standing there and just, you're next. And I was like, I feel like that's going to be slightly inappropriate because he's got kids my age.
I was gonna say somebody else needs to know about this, so you're not just the one doing it. Like, oh my god, what is wrong with this lady?
To my shock, his kids know about it and they
Okay.
actually encourage it. They think it's hysterical. His son actually told me that if I don't do it, that I don't get the car. He's always going on and on. He's going to leave me his car.
Yeah.
He used to have an Expedition that I loved. He's now got something else. I don't know what the hell he drives anymore, but it's something smaller. But he used to say that he was always going to leave me his car.
Mm-hmm.
And his kids don't want his vehicles. So he still says that he's going to give me the car. And his son said that if I don't show up dressed in black robes, that I do not get the car. And I'm just like, what makes you think I still want the car? It's funny you think I still want the car. I'll still do it. I'll show up dressed in that. Just because knowing the people he doesn't like, I'm all for it.
There are also people you don't like.
Exactly. I don't like them either. And nothing bothers me more than someone showing up to a funeral that they didn't like or they had problems in life. Because I've had that happen too many times where they're like, oh my God, No, you're not. You're enjoying it. Stop lying. Quit lying to yourself. They didn't like you. You didn't like them. Who are you lying to? Like,
see, if I don't like somebody, I'm not taking time out of my day to go fake pay respects. Like, I'm staying home.
I'm very honest and truthful at these sorts of events. I've actually gone to a funeral, and when everyone now before anyone jumps on me and is like, "You're so mean," one, I I am that mean. I am that petty. I am that shallow, and I give zero, zero fucks. My mom had to write on a post-it note, "A fuck to give," so I had at least one. That is any reference. Um, no, he wasn't a great person always. He had his moments where he was a good person, but he was not overall a great person. The last 12 years of his life or so were pretty shit. He was a terrible human being. And when his girlfriend was done saying what a great person he was, I was like, no, he wasn't. And I know for a fact he wasn't, but that's okay because he's dead now.
Yeah.
I get the last laugh. I outlived him. Am I sorry? Not at all. Not at all. The only regret I have is that he doesn't know. Do not try and play somebody up as being this amazing person when the reality is the whole time they were alive, they were not. That's
Yep.
irritating. I personally feel like when I do die, I expect my obituary to read like she was the world's biggest asshole with no patience. That's fine. You can put that I was nice sometimes. You can put that I was giving because that's true. But for the light of God, do not put, oh, she walked into a room and lit it up. The hell I do. Maybe if I light it on fire,
Yeah. The flames.
like I might light it on fire, but I'm not lighting up. No one's watching me walk into a room and being like, oh, thank God she's here. If anything, they're like, oh, shit, she's here. So let's be honest.
Shannon Doherty called out Jenny Garth because Shannon Doherty, who passed away from cancer recently, she knew that she didn't have much time left, and all of her, all these people, Jenny Garth, and I think it was also Alyssa Milano, right, that she didn't get
Yep.
along with, and she called them out.
Yep.
And I don't think she did it by. I don't think she said, "Oh, Jenny," but I think, however, she crafted her statement about like people like don't if you didn't care about me, don't come to my funeral
Oh
and
yeah, no,
stuff.
she
It was
specifically named
obvious.
them.
Oh,
No,
she did. Okay,
no,
yeah.
she named them that she did not want them at her funeral. She
Which
specifically named them. That's some
good
shit.
for her.
Hell yeah, I'd do the same thing.
Yeah.
A couple of assholes. I don't expect it. If they show up, somebody had either fight them or kick them out. One
Yeah.
of the two had better happen because if it doesn't, if they sit there and cry and put up, I will jump out of that casket so fast, living dead return style. You have no idea.
So that's why you have to hope that you can come back and haunt people. So you're just like, you see everyone who's coming, so then you can mess with the people who were like, "What are you doing here?" And then you could just mess with them.
Yeah, yeah. I've had
So
better things to do though when I'm dead.
see, I want to see when I'm dead though. I want to come back. I just want to like prank people. I don't want to be mean. I don't want to scare people. I don't want to torture people. I just want to be funny.
No, I have no interest in any of that. I want to find an afterlife that I can do nothing but eat all day and I never get full. That is my that I want to eat good tasting food all the time and never get full. Like that'd be heaven.
Okay,
That's what I want to do with my afterlife. I want to eat
I
anything.
like it.
Because it's not even the weight gain. I could care less about weight gain. I just get so full so quick. It's so aggravating sometimes. Like there's a bunch of different things I want to eat. Like I'm sure everyone gets like I want cheese sticks and I want chicken strips. And I want some mac and cheese and I want some mashed potatoes and Cajun gravy. You know what I mean? Like I want a bunch of different things, but I got to pick
Yeah.
one thing because I can't get through all of it. This is just bogus. I want a bigger stomach. I want a bottomless pit for real. So if I die, that's what I'm going to do.
So
I'm going to eat.
it sounds like you just need to live your life in like cocktail hour, where it's just tables of finger foods and little appetizer foods, because then you could just go get like one little bite of everything,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Yeah,
can really eat it all.
yeah. But I want real foods though. I don't like snacks are okay for a little while, but I like hearty foods. I want real food.
Okay, hands down, the best cocktail hour I've ever been to. The wedding was lame. The reception was lame. The best cocktail hour ever We walk, it's this massive room. They had the first table was like a carving station. I don't even know what the dude was carving. Ham, roast beef, something, I don't know. Carving whatever. But they had tables, so they had an Italian table. So they had like ravioli and like I don't know what else they had, some other Italian food. They had a Chinese table, so you could get Chinese food. They had all these different tables for all different nationalities of food.
Hmm.
The American table had hamburgers, hot dogs, and French fries.
That's
I'm at a
insulting as hell, man. We got
dude.
better
I don't
food
care.
than
I'm at cocktail hour eating hot dogs and French fries. Hell yeah.
that.
Then I'm going over and I'm eating an egg roll, and then I'm getting some ravioli, and like, dude, it was amazing. It was absolutely
Sounds pretty good.
amazing.
It sounds good. See, weddings make or break receptions, in my opinion. Our wedding, we
Mhm.
had a tremendous amount of food. I had all kinds of appetizers. I even put tiny bottles of liquor on the tables. That's how you should have a wedding. If
Yeah.
you cannot feed the people, you do not need to have them there. I've been to a wedding where they didn't serve us like a traditional food at all. We had a cocktail hour, and that was it. And I left early because it was bad.
Did they also have it at like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock? So like if they
Dinner
were only
time, yeah.
yeah, like it's dinner time, but they don't serve dinner. Like if you're only gonna serve appetizers, like you need to have that at like 2 in the afternoon or something. You
My
already ate
favorite
your
though
lunch.
was the bride got shocked and upset when everybody was like wasted within an hour of cocktail hour. And I
Yeah.
just looked at her and I was like, bitch, we grew up together. How many times have I told you that you need food in your stomach before you start drinking? You gave people unlimited amounts of alcohol and a few pieces of finger food that they
Yeah.
may or may not like. Really? You expected what to exactly happen? Because I knew that everyone was going to get hammered.
Hmm.
That was the first thing I said. I looked right at my husband, was like, I hope you're ready to deal with me drunk tonight because I'm get wasted. Get white girl wasted. Woohoo! You gotta feed me. Did you
Bilfman
curse?
wants to know, did you curse at your wedding?
Really? Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I fucking do.
Listen, it was so bad when my friends all started having kids and shit. I explained to them, I love you so much, but I cannot be around your child because I cannot watch what I say for I can only do it for so long. And
Yeah.
there are certain situations where I genuinely don't mean to. The shit just comes out. It's a word, it's an adjective, it's a lot of things. You can fit a lot of things into a lot of places. So I cuss a lot. So I told people I can't be around your kids if I can't cuss. And you know what? For the most part, most people genuinely don't give a shit. It's just as simple. I tell their kids, don't say what I say, and we'll all get along fine. I've only ever had one kid question me about it. It was my niece. She was older, and she was like, "How come you get to curse?" And I was like, "Because I'm an adult and I can
Yeah.
fight. How about you? Can you fight?" She's like, "Nope." I'm like, "You can't cuss. Problem solved." Unless you're ready to take a hit and throw one, we can't talk about it, homie. You can't cuss. It's all there
I
is.
like that there's two requirements. You have to be an adult and you have to be able to fight. Being 18 doesn't automatically give you the right to curse.
She's a teenager.
Yeah.
We're almost there. I can't quite say that you got it. It's just an adult thing because it's kind of like having sex. I don't tell them like you got to be an adult. You ready to deal with consequences, homie? Are you ready to fight? No, then
Mhm.
don't do it. Mm-mm. I have essentially the same requirements for wearing certain clothes. My kid wants to wear short shorts. She better be able to shank somebody. If you can't shank somebody comfortably, you can't wear the clothes that show things off because eventually someday someone's going to push your chances. You might just have to shank a fool. So I'm just saying. I don't think they're bad requirements. And most of the time, the kids are quite comfortable with not doing the things that I give them requirements for. And they
Yeah.
never try and make those requirements. Like my niece has never once gotten into a fight just because I told her she had to learn how to fight. My kid hasn't stabbed anybody yet.
Well, if you're going to get in a fight with people just because you said it, like that's somebody who probably already was fighting or already wanted to fight, right? Like you know, they wouldn't do it just because you were like, "Oh, can you fight?" They would already have it in them, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
Infinite Hero had Mexican food buffet style at their reception. I like that. I could eat tacos at a wedding. That'd be phenomenal.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. Dreadpool said, so I want to hear this story. He said, isn't that the one where the best man showed up drunk and got pulled over on the way to the reception?
That is the same guy. That is the same wedding. Yeah. This was a full on. This was redneck wedding, full out. There was no real class to it. There was a whole lot of. It could not get more gutter if we tried. It genuinely couldn't have. And yeah, the best man showed up to the wedding ceremony completely hammered. The ceremony was over 30 minutes away from the venue they chose to have their reception at, which isn't that odd, but it is a bit far if you think. My reception was only like 5 minutes away from where we got married. So I figured that was kind of far, but she insisted, so it was whatever. Bride wants what the bride gets. Well, her groomsmen showed up completely hammered. Her best man was so drunk he couldn't stand up straight. He was leaning on one of the other groomsmen during the ceremony. He was so trashed. After the ceremony, instead of taking any brain cells off of anybody, anyone putting their brain to work, no one suggested that the groomsmen that are completely hammered ride with someone else in a vehicle where someone else is driving. They just kind of went, okay, meet us back at the reception spot, and let them all loose. Well, we've got a bunch of drunk morons at this point. We've got guys who are so hammered. Now we've been standing in Florida sun, hammered. If anyone's drunk in the sun with it beating down on you, you know, that instantly intensifies anything you've already got going.
Mm-hmm.
If you're slurring your words, homie, you're falling down after about 20 minutes. You're dehydrated. You're heating over. Yeah, good time. Well, a groomsman and the best man decided they were going to ride in a truck to the reception site. Well, 30, 40 minutes go by, 45 minutes go by, an hour goes by. They're still not there. The bride's now impatient. She needs to do her entrance, but she needs the groomsmen to go in first because that's what she wanted. She wanted the groomsmen and the bridesmaid to go in before her, like most weddings. We looked for the groomsmen. We finally tracked these idiots down. The best man got arrested on the way back because he hit one of those big old barrels full of water that's in the middle of the highway that blocks the exit ramp. You know, that's there for safety. It's there for a reason. He decided to test to see if it really had water in it. So he took out 2 of them. Got arrested for DUI, and that's where we found out he was for the reception. The other groomsman someone had to go and pick up because obviously he was so drunk he couldn't drive either.
Yep.
So someone had to go and pick him up and then drive him back. Very much gutter.
Why on earth did they not, like, if you know that everyone's drinking beforehand, why didn't they rent a limo, a car, something, call a cab? I don't know. Like, if you knew that why was this not planned out as part of the whole process?
You know, I could ask a lot of questions, but I'd rather not. There were so many questions that I had for that wedding. The bride and groom insisted on the same country song to be played 50,000 times in a row, and then got upset that no one was dancing, but the people were getting upset because it was the same goddamn song 50 times in a row.
Yeah.
Like, it was just the whole thing. It was just like a universal of what the hell did I walk into?
Yeah.
What is this? It's a moment of what? Really? Is this really, are we adults? And the worst part is they were all in their 30s. It's not like they were 21 and 20. Oh no, we were all in our mid 30s when this happened. So it's like,
they knew better.
You guys are doing great things, good things. I'm going to see myself out. It was not anything. After that, she invited me to a couple of parties at their house and stuff, and it was like, yeah, if I have time, I'll stop by. I've never been to her property for a party.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I love her. I do. But I can't do it. I'm not that young anymore. I'm not young enough for that anymore. I do not have patience for it. I cannot be a babysitter to a grown-ass person because they decided to drink too much anymore. I did that for most of my 20s and part of my 30s. I'm passing on this one. Thanks, though.
So Joe Pool said they played the same Kid Rock song over 6 times. It was their entrance song, the first dance song, and the rest were requested because the bride demanded to dance to it. And every time people were dancing to dance music, she would come up and request the Kid Rock song. Everybody would stop dancing, and then she complained that nobody's dancing. Oh, you were the DJ
Yeah, I
that
talked
you
her
did.
into
Oh, that
it.
you did not get paid for. So you were.
No, it was a nice thing I thought I was doing for her. And she was an old friend from high school, so I thought I was
Mhm.
doing the nice thing, the polite thing. And I really regretted it. And I've never done favors for anybody like that since.
Yep.
She also asked me to help her coordinate things the day of, and I've not done anything remotely close to that since then. One of my really good friends got married, and she asked me to help, and I went, I will show up.
Yeah.
I will bustle your wedding dress. I will help make sure you have alcoholic drinks all night, but that is all I am doing. I have no interest in anything else ever again. None whatsoever. Too many people have ruined it. I've done it too many times to be nice, and I'm no thank
Yeah.
you. No thank you. Mhm.
Infinite Hero said my wife's cousin had an outdoor wedding in July, so the wedding was over an hour late to start,
Oh,
and everyone at the ceremony was sunburned and pissed. If I like you see this, if I had to stay outside in the sun, I'd burn very quickly. I would have left. I would have gone, sat in my car. I don't know. I would have found like one less. I would have. I don't know. I would have sat on the ground next to a tall person to get shade. I don't know. There's no way I could have sat outside for because then not only if you're an hour late, how long's the ceremony, right? You got to add that time on. If I got sunburnt at a wedding, no, no, don't ever invite me to an outdoor wedding.
I
Put
wouldn't
it
have
that way.
stayed. I wouldn't have stayed the full hour. I would have been like,
No,
I'm sorry. I can't sit here for no, that's disrespectful as hell. That is
yeah,
so rude. That is so rude. It's bad enough you're making them go out there in July, but to be an hour late, that's just. And I say that as someone who was late to her wedding. I was late to my wedding. I wasn't that late to my wedding, though. I was probably like 10, 15 minutes late, but that's
yeah.
okay because they double booked the spot anyway. So my wedding wasn't going to start on time to begin with.
So the wedding I said where we had the amazing cocktail hour. The reason the wedding and the reception sucked. The wedding, we were all at the church, and I don't know if they were an hour late, but they were over 30 minutes late. They probably were close to an hour late. I guess they went and took photos. We found out after the fact that they went and took photos beforehand. And on the way to the church, they got stuck in construction traffic. So we were all just sitting in the church, which, I mean, at least we were inside and we had somewhere to sit, but it was just like, how long are we expected to sit here for? This is just insane. Then we went to the reception and like we were early. So I don't know what their plan was if they were already super late and we still were early to the reception. Like what like there must have been a gap in the middle, but they didn't tell people there was a gap.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all sitting in the lobby of this place. And then the reception place, you could tell they were like, crap, what's everyone doing here? So they were nice. They let us into cocktail hour early, but it was just like, I don't know. It was really dumb and stupid. And then the food at the reception sucked, which didn't matter because I was stuffed from all the hamburgers and hot dogs and french fries that I ate at cocktail hour, so I didn't really care. But this was like a fancy place.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here talking, right? And I'm using my napkin and my utensils. I like turn to talk to someone at the table next to me. So I never get up. My body does not move. I just turn. I turn back. The wait staff had come and like folded my napkin and put it back and rearranged the utensils. And it's like, dude, I'm still sitting here. Wait, like I didn't get up. Yeah, you didn't pay attention for a minute and they had to come tidy up your area. It was weird. It was weird.
That sounds so strange. I had a friend that did something where she and her husband took new pictures in between the reception and the ceremony. But at least they had enough courtesy to one, rent out a room for us to do cocktail hour in while we waited for them to show up.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't allowed in the reception hall area until after they had gotten to the building so we could go in so they could do their entrance and everything.
Yep.
But it was at least nice that we had an air conditioned bar. I mean, they had snacks and stuff you could wait in between. And I think they even had like a little sign at the door or something that told us like, it's just us for cocktail hour. They'll join us shortly.
Yeah.
Something, something, something. It is.
Well, that's what we did because we got married and then everybody went to cocktail hour.
Mm-hmm.
We went, took photos. Maybe we took photos at the reception place, but like we took all of our photos while everyone's at cocktail hour, and then we went to a room and had our own little private. They set up cocktail food for us to eat. So then, as everyone's going into the reception hall, we're eating our cocktail hour food, and I had a mashed potato bar. It was phenomenal. I just want to put that out there. So delicious.
You
I
had a
had
mashed potato bar?
Yes. That was one of the choices. I was like, I have to have
That sounds
this.
amazing.
And then because we were in our own room with the bridal party, so we didn't have access to everything, they like brought up like a giant bowl of mashed potatoes and like little bowls of all the different toppings to pick from.
Yeah.
And then it was even better because Perry had a giant bowl of sweet potatoes. And they're lame. I don't want them. So it was perfect. So I got all the potatoes for me. He had the sweet potatoes. And like his little bowls of toppings, they had mini marshmallows, like 'cause it's sweet potatoes. Like,
yeah.
dude, it was so good.
This is awesome.
Mashed potato bar.
Weddings have gotten a little over the top though, and I'm grateful that I'm married, so I don't have to plan another wedding again like that, because the way they're doing weddings now, one, they're crazy expensive. I mean, absolutely atrocious.
Yeah.
I can't imagine spending some of the amount of money some of these weddings cost. I could buy a house.
Yep.
Like, are you kidding me? I could buy a car outright and never make a payment on it again.
Yeah.
I'm not spending $50,000 on a wedding. I could buy 2 cars.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like they're changing the way they're doing them because of the expense on them. I'm hearing more and more about them offering sit-down dinners less and less. It's becoming quite more popular to have cocktail hours and do finger foods and things and not actually feed people, which I guess would be fine if it's in between lunch and dinner. But it's not okay
and dinner.
If it's around the time you would be eating a meal, it is not okay to not feed people.
Yeah, you have to feed people. And Perry said he didn't eat sweet potatoes at her wedding. What the fuck? Didn't you have mashed sweet potatoes? I'm not saying you had like a baked sweet potato. Weren't they mashed?
Mashed. This is mashed.
Or did we have them and you didn't eat them and you just ate the regular mashed potatoes? I don't know. I thought you ate the mashed sweet potatoes. I'm sorry. I'm spreading lies. I'm spreading lies about our wedding. Perry ate the regular mashed potatoes. Everybody.
The only food that I remember for my wedding in particular was I had the burnt cheese. I like cheese. I had Greek food at my wedding, and I honestly don't even remember what I ate, much less what he ate. I couldn't tell. I know I ate some of the cake. That's about all I know. And I had some of the desserts because I had like baklava and a few other Greek dishes for dessert.
Oh, see, okay. So when we were touring places to go, we don't drink. So it has an open bar. Great. That's check off the list. Like I don't need the details. Okay. We went to this one country club, and the guy was like, "Oh, we have top shelf liquor," and we were like, "Okay, great." So then we're starting to ask him about the food. All this guy kept talking about was the liquor. And we kept trying to ask him about the food. And he just kept telling us, well, we have this liquor, that liquor. We're like, dude, we just want to know about the food. That's right. I was just so stupid. So I remember a lot about the food from our wedding. Apparently I don't remember about the mashed sweet potatoes because he's still telling me that he ate mashed. So I don't know. But we had a chicken, a steak, and a fish dish, whatever types they were, I don't really know. But we had a couple people who didn't show up, so we got the extra food. We were like, well, okay, bring those extra dinners to our table, please. So we got a variety of food. We each picked a cake flavor. I picked cannoli cake because it is the best cake that there is. Duh. And so the bottom layer was cannoli cake. So when we cut the cake, and you got to beat each other's slice, it was cannoli cake. His choice, I believe, was Tell me if I'm wrong. I think it was a chocolate, like a cheesecake layer, and then a chocolate cake layer on top. See the
If he
important
says you're
things,
wrong on
food.
this one, he's gonna be like, "Damn it, you weren't even there."
Yeah, he's like, yeah. Did you come to our wedding? Do you remember this? Oh yeah,
Oh,
the
God.
place too, where the guy was telling us about top shelf liquor. The guy showed us like, oh, this is the room it would be in. So I understand if the room was just like you had the old tablecloths out for just to keep things not dusty.
Yeah.
But okay, my screen says there's an error. Are we still? I don't even
Yeah.
know if
No,
you
we're
can
good.
see me or hear me.
Oh,
Hopefully you can.
what just
Oh
happened?
gosh, what am I doing?
Well, that was new.
I can't hear anything
Hey,
at all.
Dad.
It says I
I
can't even
don't know
read
what
this
just
because it's black
happened.
text on a black background.
I genuinely don't know what just happened.
What is happening?
I
It says
don't know what happened. Come look, please. You got pants on?
what? Okay, hold on. Hold please.
I don't know what just happened.
Hold please.
It says application error. A client side exception has occurred.
Are you guys still on? No, you're not on.
Oh, wait.
Black text on a black background.
I genuinely don't know what just happened.
What is happening?
I don't know what happened. Come
Okay.
look, please.
Okay, I'm back.
If you see me on there, then we're still looking. Are you able to communicate with her?
I don't know, Pinky, can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. I had to open it in
Yeah.
a new tab.
I'm so confused. What's going on? I have no
I'm gonna
idea.
hit refresh.
Okay, in the chat said they could still hear us and see us. Okay, so she's refreshing her screen. Okay, that was so weird.
I'm so confused. What
Dude,
the hell
they
just
said
happened?
they could hear us the whole time.
Oh, no, I've got my phone streaming.
Dude,
And I
the-
turn my phone up to see if and I'm like waiting, and it just it
the screen. Okay, the screen is
so
black.
happening.
The screen. When I say hold please, I sounded like Pat. Oh my god, I love it.
Oh my
The screen.
God.
Okay, so the screen went black, but then the message showed up in like slightly off black text. So like I had to get really close because I couldn't even read it because it's black on black, and it just said that there was an error, and I was like, what the heck? And then I was gonna keep talking and just like pretend that nothing happened, but then I'm like, wait, what if I'm talking and I'm talking to the void? So I opened it in a new tab and reloaded in, and then I could see you, but you still couldn't see us in the chat. Like, nope, everything's fine.
Well, I'm like, I'm sitting there and yeah, I have no
It was
idea.
really
We
weird.
just refreshed the page and it worked. Okay, folks, I don't know what happened. I guess the stream was fine for you guys. It totally blacked out on us. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
I
glad
think-
I didn't do anything inappropriate when I thought the camera was.
Yeah. Whew. Okay, well, what I was the short version of what I was saying is we go and the tablecloth had cigarette holes in it and everything. Like it was a really piece of crap place and it was expensive. I'm glad we didn't go there. But I think this is like the universe's way of telling us. I said I totally just lost my train of thought. What's the movie? The Final Destination? Like, oh, you got to end things. I think the universe is just like, okay, you guys are done. It's getting late. You've been live for almost 2 hours. You guys are done live streaming for the night. We're gonna end it. I think that's what just happened.
I guess so. I guess like, well, I'm done hearing about you guys. I
Yeah.
don't want to hear any more of this.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I've had
That's
enough.
fine. We've been on for almost 2 hours anyway. It's understandable. I can see why it's a little
Yeah.
probably wants to go to bed or something.
Yeah.
Hi. Yes, Dreadpool wears his own shirts. I also wear his shirts sometimes when it's warmer, but I do not have any long sleeves with his name on them, so I do not wear them when it is cold outside, and it is probably somewhere, I think, in the 40s right now. Oh, no, I stand corrected. It is 51 degrees outside.
Okay. I just looked my watch right here. It is currently 4. Yes, 4. There's no other digits coming. That's the only digit. 4.
I'm gonna
4
need
degrees.
you people to take your cold weather back out of Florida. We did not ask for this. We are not built for this. We do not like it. Iguanas are falling out of trees.
Yeah.
Okay?
Before I said I didn't want your cold weather, but I do want your cold weather. I want your 40-degree weather, please. Please. I think they said that we're not going to get above, I think we're going to be below 20 through Christmas Eve. And then I think when we get maybe to like Christmas or the day after, is I think we're going to get back up into the 40s. But we have, yeah. This is the coldest we've had since like the beginning of January. It was super cold, and then it has been bad. So yeah, we're in we got the Arctic air right now. We had a few inches of snow the other day. But in the middle of shoveling, I did put out my Christmas mouse, so I did accomplish something. But yeah, this is 4 degrees. This is ridiculous, and now I have to worry about pipes freezing and like.
Oh,
Yeah.
it sounds like a nightmare. I'm not even gonna lie.
It is.
Although I have to say, for Christmas Eve and probably Christmas Day, probably won't be this cold. It's supposed to get back up into the 70s for Christmas.
Yeah.
Woohoo! It's a Christmas miracle.
But
make the joke all the time that we get hurricanes, but we don't have snow. I'll take that. I mean, I've said before, I can't do snow. Snow, there's not really as much of a. You don't have as much of a warning usually. You get like an hour before a snowstorm hits. You've got like an hour or two usually.
yeah.
I have a week to prepare for a hurricane. I'm good. I
Yeah.
can make all the jokes and buy the real supplies and the party supplies before it gets here. You got an hour before a snowstorm. You'd be like if you get home before it happens.
Yeah. See, normally I don't mind winter, but usually it gets cold and then it stays cold.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of get used to it. But now it's like it gets cold, so it's cold for one day, and then it goes up. Like it was 50 degrees less than a week ago, right? So this going cold, warm, cold, warm. Cold, and I say warm being in the 40s and 50s because for winter that's warm, right? Then it makes it that much harder when you get a 4-degree day. But if it's only 30 degrees every day, and it keeps goes between 20 and 30, a 4-degree day sucks, but it's not horrible. So it's. Yeah.
I just find what annoys me about the weather right now is because it keeps going back and forth between hot and cold. We keep getting, and it goes.
Yeah.
Obviously, Florida doesn't get as cold, but it gets down to the 40s. Actually, over the weekend, it was down in the 30s yesterday and the day before.
Yeah, and if you're not used to that, I mean, that's freezing.
Yeah. And what the problem is while it dips down into the 30s and 40s one day, for the next couple of days, it's going to be like 70.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is, you do realize this is what makes people sick. And I understand that everyone's like, oh, the germs. And I get that, but your body can decide it's not tolerating the seasons anymore because you're getting hit with 3 of them in the span of 48 hours.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. I don't need summer, spring, and fall all within 2 days.
Yep.
I don't need winter the following. This is too much. So, yeah, we get sick from that. I'm getting sick from that personally. My body is not sure what the hell it's supposed to do. We can't make the blood sick if we don't stay cold for very long.
But that's right. We're gonna make it through tonight, and then we'll be then we're going into the 20s, 30s. Then we're gonna it'll get a little warmer. Just yeah. So I gotta go put the little fleece sweatshirts on the cats tonight. Because even though obviously we have heat in the house, the colder it gets, it's harder to heat up. So I'm going to go put the shirts on the cats, leave some of the certain faucets dripping, and then go bundle up. But, well, that was great tonight. Thank you, everyone. We had a bunch of new people today. I can't even go through. I know we're going to miss people, but we had a bunch of new names in here. Thank you. We had a great chat tonight. It was funny. I enjoyed going off the rails about nacho cheese. I will do that any day of the week. No, I love it. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, we appreciate you all being here.
Yes.
Very nice. But with that being said, we're going to go do things.
Yep.
Get ready for coldness. And I need to go eat some nachos while I watch Dreadpool get the house ready for the cold. Not that we have to. It's not freezing here yet, so I don't have to worry about that tonight.
But you have the important job. Got to go heat up the nacho cheese and have some chips and cheese.
Yes, they are calling my name. The longer I stare at them, the more I'm apt to start eating chips while we're doing this. And I don't think anybody wants to hear me eating chips because that is loud and obnoxious and it's misophonia or something that
Yeah.
I'm not trying to trick. So, but we appreciate you guys. And yeah,
Yes,
I would go
thank you.
through the list of names, but I'm not even going to pretend I could pronounce some of these. So I can't, I don't read that well. No, just kidding. I read, I just can't pronounce shit.
Yes. No, thank you, everyone. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy, whatever you celebrate. Enjoy your week. Hopefully you get at least one day off of work.
Yeah.
Eat some good food.
Maybe you had a stress-free few hours on Christmas Eve
Yep.
or Christmas Day. Pick one or the other, or have both. Who knows? Maybe you're lucky and you'll get peace for both and no stress
Yes.
for either one. I envy you. But good night. Happy holidays. And
Yes.
we'll see you, I think we'll be back before New Year's. So
Yep.
there's one show left before New Year's. So we'll see. As long as I don't get smashed or something. I promise nothing. Promise nothing. Eggnog's sneaky. I'm just kidding. I don't drink eggnog.
Yes.
I absolutely drink some Irish coffee.
I'll drink the eggnog. I got some in my fridge right now.
See, there you go. I'll take the rum. I'll take the rum from it. I don't drink eggnog.
Perfect. You take the rum, I'll take the eggnog. Perfect.
All right, everybody. Well, have a good time. Enjoy. Godspeed, and we'll see you all next time. Oh, I'm Death Dealer.
And I'm Pink Pickles.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.